what I really loved about the film was the fact that the kind of humanity of the character Lionel comes out in the fact that the threats, that he is so aware of it and that he can't not kind of like explain himself, if you like.
Okay, listen. I got something wrong with me. That's the first thing to know.
I got threads in my head. I got threads in my head, man.
I twitch and shout a lot. Makes me look like a damn freak show.
Can't you ever cut that out?
I'm sorry. Touch it, Bailey. I'm sorry.
Was that something that you wrote into it, or was that something that you felt naturally occurred with the character?
It's fairly natural. The book has a wonderful richness of description of this character, and this is hard to explain, but the book takes place in the modern era.
Yeah, in the 90s.
And we set it back, in part because we liked the idea, the author and I liked the idea of almost reimagining it in a time when he doesn't even know what he has.
Yeah.
So what you just described, the frustration of having something you feel you constantly have to suppress and apologize for, and you don't even know what it is, we intensified that a little bit purposefully, because it's lonelier. You know what I mean? It's even more of a struggle. We wanted to kind of intensify his isolation, and his invisibility to people in some ways.
The headspace that you would have had to get into to kind of play that role, because I mean, I know one of my best friends in school had Tourette's, and the thing that he always kind of just as I was watching this, I was comparing it to his kind of issues with it, and the problem that he always had was that he felt that he needed some sort of outlet to focus it into. So like he played in a heavy metal band, so like he would just like play drums, and every time he'd have a tick, it would just look like he was headbanging or something like that. For you, I mean, when you were in that headspace, what was the most challenging thing about it? Was it just getting the actual physicality of it, or was it?
Yes, I think that you can't be thinking about it.
Because it's involuntary.
It's like, I was saying to someone, it's like a basketball player or a football player. You can't be thinking every time you move the ball from one foot to the other. It's just got to become intuitive. It's got to be muscle memory, and it's essentially the same. I think it's got to become sort of a fluid part of your being. Yeah. That's the work of rehearsal and practice. What you just said is that's the draw, is this will be hard. I mean, as an actor, you say, I have not done this. This will be interesting, challenging, a puzzle to figure out how to get to that.
I mean, you didn't even compare with like the score, for example, like where there was a similar kind of like physicality to it, like.
Yes and no. Yes, in the sense that for a bit in the score, the funny thing, he's faking in the score.
Yeah, of course,
he's a con man.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean his con isn't good, but
in
a way,
really
it's
good,
like it's So yes, there's a dimension of that. I think, it's funny thinking of a great Irish filmmaker and a great Irish actor. My Left Foot, like a performance like that. What's really great about it is not simply the physical incarnation of Christy Brown. It's the total humanity of him. It's the fact that what they captured was his. He was a real
he came out of him.
Bitch,
in a way.
He
completely.
He was a human being. He was lusty. He was funny. He could be mean. And his art
still
rose
surfaced
up out of a trance of who he was as a human being. He was not defined by. I think that's the whole point in a way, right? That's why it's and in a wild way, isn't it? Like, to me, the reason that film is one of kind of what I would call almost like a triptych of great Irish films they made, In the Name of the Father,
Jim Sheridan,
and The Boxer. Those three that they made together. They get at something essentially Irish, don't they? I mean, Christy Brown, it's that fight, you know what I mean?
I'm not gonna let this get me down.
And I think that Lionel, he has, Motherless Brooklyn. He has a quality. He's a Brooklyn orphan. He's a street tough Brooklyn kid. He is those things alongside this, and it's part of his fight, his kind of underdog fight to get out, to push through people's the limitation that's on him, and be heroic in the end. Push back beyond his daily battles. Push back against power. Go up against bigger people and defend others. You know what I mean? And I think there's something in that. It's not just kind of he's quintessentially New York, but it's also.
It's that toughness.
It's also that it's the times we're living in. It's like he reminds you it's good to be empathetic. It's good to root for the underdog and not fall into the romance of power.
The tragedy of it or whatever. Yeah, it's really good. Okay, I'm getting the wrap up. Thank you.
Thanks.
Cheers.
Pleasure.
This town is run by Moses Randolph. When someone isn't seen for what they truly are, that's a very dangerous thing.
Do you have the first inkling how power works? Power is knowing that you can do whatever you want and not one person can stop you. Those people are invisible. They don't exist.
If you threaten his work, he will destroy you.
You all alone?
You got no idea.
You're webbed up in this somehow, and these people aren't gonna stop.
You got a head just like mine, always turning things around. Some people call it a gift, but it's a brain affliction just the same.
You remember what I said?
She doesn't know! She doesn't know!
What don't I know?